Now the colouring pencils I'm using are Albrecht Dürer. They're my favourites of colouring pencils. They're very high quality, artist quality, and you'll see that they do make a fantastic job. You can use any colouring pencils, you don't have to use these. But I've got a nice paper which I use, which you will see on the website, that it's made by Staples. And the pencils, well, as I said, you can get them from all good retailers, sell the Albrecht Dürer. Okay, so that, but you don't have to have these. I've got a set of 48 here, although I've got to be honest, I've actually intermingled some other ones which I had to give me a really good range. But they can be a bit pricey if you do it that way, but so any colouring pencils will work. I'm going to start off by using a couple of greys because I'm going to turn him into a grey elephant, but he'll be really, really attractive because we'll be putting lots and lots of colour in, especially on that. Now, to give you an idea of the colours so that you can match your own colours to it, I've got the colours I'm going to be using for the elephant. The two greys, as I said, those will be the two greys that I shall use for the body, and the greens I'm going to be using for the part of the circus stand, and I'm going to use blue for the other. So we'll have one area will be green, that one will be green, that will be blue, and they will be the two blues, or the two blues and two greens I'm going to use. Then I'm going to use a yellow, which is actually I've got the wrong yellow out there, folks. Get it right, Colin. That yellow. So that yellow, which is more yellow, the other one was a more greeny yellow. So I'm going to use that and that as for the nails, and also the orange will be used in there. And then the pink, well, the pink is really for the eyes and the tongue. There's not much pink there, folks. And the browns will be down here when we use them for the shadowing. Okay, so those are the colours. So if you want to match those up to your own colours that you're using, then you can use anything you like. I mean, this is giving you an idea. You can use anything you want to. I'm not going to change my mind. I've already decided what I'm going to be using, but you can make them up as you go along. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to bring you closer and I'll show you the colouring process. Now this is what I use when I'm colouring. I'm using, as I said, the Staples sketching paper. I'm not going to wet the pencils at all, but the Albrecht Dürer go on really smoothly, as you can see. If you use a thicker paper or watercolour paper or anything with dimples in, you'll find that you tend to get a pattern which is not really that great, to be honest. Now, there's our first colour. Now I'll show you as we go along the process by which I work. I use the grey, the lighter grey, and now you can either choose to make that a little darker with the grey, the lighter grey, or you can use another compatible colour, which is a darker grey, and that will give you a little bit more shadow. I mean, ideally under the ear would be great, but also on the edge. And this gives a three-dimensional look to the cartoon. You may have seen it in other cartoons, but it is really, really very attractive. I'm going to put that on there like that, just on the edge. And what you do is you go on the edge and you just fan it out slightly, like that. And because, as I said, they mix together beautifully. I'm making that just a little darker in there. You can always go back afterwards anyway and enhance more. But you see how nice that looks. Okay, let's carry on. And now we've got the body to do. Now I won't do the whole of the body because it would be too long. But let me just do this part of the head, and then I'll show you little bits and pieces as we go along, because you don't want to see me doing the same thing over and over again. Now what I do is generally, what you won't see me doing is this, because I love the little round circular movements. You know with the pastel pencil how effective this can be. And just go over. Don't press too hard. There's really no need to press hard with these. You use the other colour, like here, this colour, to have a little more depth. Or, as I said, with the other cartoons, you can use the same pencil and put a little more pressure on. It's entirely up to you, but you can see how nice this is actually looking if you do it this way. Okay, well, I think I've done enough now for you to see how it works. So I'm going to do the whole of the body, obviously missing out the nails and tongue and so on, and then when you join me again, I'll probably do just a little bit more of the finishing with the darker colour, so you can see how it works perhaps on the body, and then we'll do the eyes and all the other bits and pieces. Okay, now I've just brought you in again because I'm just going to show you how we can add a little more interest around the eye. Using this dark grey, I've already used the lighter grey on there. Now I'm using the darker grey to fade it out so we don't get an obvious line. But what we do get, as you can see, is a really attractive tonal effect. Okay, now we'll just carry on. We need to darken all the creases, make them look that little bit more realistic, and then on the edges, as I've showed you up here, just go around the edges again. As I said, it makes it more 3D. Just there. Again, because we've got a bulbous area there, if we enhance it just a little bit with the grey, you can see how nicely it actually comes up. You see that? It's only subtle. And this is the idea of you don't want it too in your face. Like that. And the other area which I haven't done yet is on this edge. The ink does give you that line, which is excellent, but the grey added to it just adds another level, which is great. Now I don't make that too dark because in here I'm going to put a little bit more strength. You can just put a touch more grey on just to make it that little bit more shadow. Got it? Okay, well I'll carry on. I'll bring you back if I think anything more interesting to show you. I've almost finished now, it's just a little area here to fill in, and then I will show you how we can make that tubby elephant even tubbier. Now that's the whole lot, and you can see it's quite a light application. That's lovely. Okay, now switch back to our darker pencil, and what I'm going to do here, you see I'm holding this in a particular way. The idea is to keep the pencil as light as we can in application, as flat as I can on the paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sorry madam, I'm going to make it more bulbous by gradually darkening there, and you should now see this happening, and then we're going to go right up the edge. I'm just going to turn this round slightly because I need to get here as well, right on that very edge. And then when we do that, just bring it in. This is really, really therapeutic, I can tell you. It's so rewarding using the pencils. You'd expect Faber-Castell to be a great pencil, but they certainly are. That's great. Now let's just do a little bit under here, because we come down the other side now, and then we leave the middle area light. But I'm going to show you something else, which will surprise you in a moment or two, where you can actually take some of the colour off. Now, coloured pencils are difficult to remove once you put them on, with an ordinary eraser. But there is an eraser called a vinyl eraser, which I have here, which I can show you. And once again, right on the edge, so we get that sort of dark edge. Now that looks good. I want to make this a little more. I'm changing the pencil, holding the pencil now, because I want just a little bit more strength to go in, especially with those creases there, maybe under there, under the arm. So then fade it out like that. Now you can now see, I think you can see the lighter area in the middle. Let's just do, I'll just speed this up a little bit because it's taking a long time. There we are, I've got that. And we do the other arm as well. I may well add just a little bit more on that. But what I haven't done this leg either, have I? Might as well do it all. You'll get the better effect that way. Now on that edge I want that to be a little bit darker. And it's in shadow. Okay. Now, this is what we call, let me just take it out of its sleeve, is a vinyl eraser. And what you can do with it is you can use it just to take a little bit of it. You could actually rub it out as well, but I'm not doing it like that. I'm just taking just a little more of the colour off in those lighter areas. You might look at that and think, oh, I can't see any difference. Well, no, you probably can't, but I know there is a difference there. Just a little, just on areas where, there we are. Now, you may not be able to see that, but there's a subtle change of that. Anyway, that's the vinyl rubber. Very useful, especially if you went over the edges. Anyway, I haven't done that, so that's fine. So that's the greys out of the way. Now let's just concentrate on the eyes, because they are really great fun. Now, these are the colours I've chosen to use for the eyes. So first of all, we put a little bit of the light pink. You would be familiar with this. This is 132 in our pastel pencil range, but Faber-Castell follow on right through all of the range with the same colour numbers. Okay, and now a darker pink just on the very edge. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? I'm sure you'll be able to pick that up on the screen. Just on the edge. Lovely. Okay, now in the mouth itself, we want the 132 again in there, and also in the nostril. I don't think we have room for any of the darker colour in there. But just in here, I'm using a dark. Now this is a 225. Again, you might be familiar with that. We use that in the pastel pencil, in the very, very inside of the mouth. Give it a dark red colour. Isn't that great? Okay, so that's that. Now the yellow. I'm going to put the yellow on the nails. All of the nails. And if you have already done the tortoise, Harry, you would know what I'm going to do next. I'm going to use the orange. This is the darker orange, just to put on the outside of that. If you look at the two, you'll see the difference. Don't overdo it. Once you get the effect, leave it. Well, you could ask me, why don't you wet these? Well, you could do, but I can't see the point, to be honest. This looks so good. Now, the other thing I've done here, I've made this top of the circus stand orange too. So let's do that. It's the same process. whittle it round so that you get a very even coat. That looks good, doesn't it? Now on the edge of that, you can press just a little harder. The orange has more strength to it, and that gives you that same three-dimensional look that we've got using two colours on the elephant. I mean, you could put a darker colour on as well. I'm not going to, but you could do if you want to. I like that subtle tone. And you could also use your vinyl eraser, just if you wanted to, just to take off some of the colour in the centre. That looks good, doesn't it? These other areas now, the green, I said we were going to use the green. The green is used on the top of this, so we just put that in. You see how smooth that goes on. If you have as I said before, if you have a paper that doesn't react quite so well, you won't get as smooth as that. That's good. Now I'm going to add just a little more strength on the outside here to give us, once again, the feeling that we've got like a border almost coming round. And then we switch pencils. This is 167 with green, and this will give us a little bit more strength. Now you'll see that more obviously when I do this one, as it's facing you. And the edge. Right. Now here, what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to use the cream. I've got a cream here and see how that looks, because sometimes you can put light over the top of dark. It won't register that much, but what it will do, it tends to smooth in the dark. It's just like using a blender almost. Can you see? I hope you can see that, because it looks really great. And the other side. Okay, that's 102. You don't have to do that. That's just a little extra. The blue I'm using is the lightest blue. Same idea, once again. And what I would do with this is experiment to see how that looks when you put the blue on the edge, like I've done with the green. When you see it, you think, yeah, I like that. Because we've got a darker blue to put in there as well. So, but yeah, how nice that looks. Let's do it again. It's all practice really, and the more you can practice, the better it will look. Because we are going to be doing quite a lot of pencil work, dry pencil work and watercolour, or using them as watercolours later on. And this is good bit of practice to see how manageable the pencil. Oh, I can show you. Look, you see, just down here, I've overshot a little bit, so I can show you how you can actually erase it. See that? Magic. And then on the edges, put an extra strength. So what happens in the middle? You see it quite light, nearly there. I'm showing you all of this because it's not going to take me very long to do, and it gives you an opportunity of seeing how effective this can be. Down there like that. It's in the middle. If you wanted the bits in the middle just a little bit lighter, use your vinyl eraser just to make it just a little lighter inside. And then on the outside, the dark blue will give you quite a stunning effect. Look at that difference between those two. Especially the edge, because that really does make the whole thing stand out. That light looks great, doesn't it now? So there we are. That's the finish of the cartoon, basically, except we've now got to use the other browns to put the finishing touches on the bottom. And what I'm doing, I'm using this ochre brown to start with. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go round, but leave that puff light. See that? Very light. Almost when it comes up here, disappear. You could do the whole thing, but I don't like doing it. I like to do just a section of it. Okay, bring that down, and down on the other side, like that. You could ask me, why don't I press harder and it wouldn't take me so long? And it wouldn't do that, but you wouldn't get the evenness of coat if you did that. You'd find it would be more with dark markings in it, which we don't really want. Okay, now this is where we have to think that, is that off the ground? Well, yes, it is a bit. Go down as far as there, I think. Make like a vignette of it. And then bring that up. And then disappear up there. But here is where we need it to be darker. I want to give the impression that that stand is raised off the floor slightly. So we put the shadow there. I'm going to use dark brown in a minute. And then underneath the feet, we make just a little bit more strength, like that. Just a little bit more shadow maybe. And then the dark brown, and that will give us, you've got to be careful with this because this is going to be too dark. If you press too hard, I just want to get rid of the line there. That's it. Okay. Also, those cracks can be emphasised by just putting a little bit of the brown over them. And in here, this is where it's going to make quite a difference. Now, it really should now look to you as though that's risen off the floor. And I don't think I'm going to do any more. Happy with it. There you go, look. Isn't that stunning? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little frame around it for you and then give you a final look at the picture. I think that's fantastic. Well, there we are, folks, a finished cartoon. I think you'll agree it's pretty spectacular. Complete with her caption too. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.